So this area, there are pockets where there is more water being held in the soil, and there are pockets where the landscape naturally shapes so that a lot of debris and other things accumulate and you get more soil. So for example, this soil over here is very dry, it's very hard to dig in, it's dusty, and it's light colored, so low in organic matter. When I look at the soil, it's pretty hard. I can't get my fingers in there at all. It's exposed. It's also very light in color, what you can see, but it is not easy to dig into or aerate in any way. So this is much harder. There's a lot of limestone also in this area, and so when it rains, it forms something called caliche, which is basically like limestone rock in the soil. It's really difficult for soil like this to hold a lot of water. When it rains, water tends to rush off, and so we really do need plant life and cover for the soil to start breaking up this hard mineral rich layer and trying to get nutrients mobilizing and accessible to the plants as well. But if you look over here, there's just a little bit of a slope over here, and a lot of soil is kind of accumulating. So there's grasses and other things growing, so a lot of things anchoring it in place. And if we were to look down here and kind of dig through here, this area here is much easier to dig into. I can stick my finger in there, and if I pull out some of the soil, it's still light colored, but it's much darker and easier to grow in. So this is plant life, this is moisture, and so when I'm planting seeds, finding areas where just up here, there's water kind of funneling in, and then there's sort of a dip, and it's catching a little bit of debris and soil dust that kind of erodes off during rainstorms, and it's slowly kind of breaking down. And you can see all these plants in this little area, they are taking advantage of that beautiful growth. And so if I were to plant a seed here, then so say something like a beyota or emery oak, this would be maybe a good spot to plant one, whereas an area where it's really dry, difficult to get stuff into, it's harder. Now beyotas or emery oaks grow higher up in elevation, however they do also grow on the Tucson Valley floor as well. They're an ornamental tree as well, so if there is an area that has a little bit of moisture and is doing well, they can really anchor landscapes, and they are hardy and resistant. And so this area is actually kind of a moisture area here, and so I'm going to try it out here, and chances are it may not make it, but it's a great experiment to see. So I'll dig it down, put it in, make sure it's down there deep, and then pat it dry.